All right. What do we say? Something about the Newport Current?
What do you just kick us off?
All right. Hey there, this is the latest episode of the Newport Current. You're joining us here in the flagship store. Matthew, Brad, we got a very special guest in today. Super stoked about this. Thanks for being here. Brad, why don't you get us started?
Ooh, thank you, Matthew. Yeah, what a beautiful day. Happy belated Easter to everyone out there.
Yes,
I hope you guys all had an amazing time. Super excited to have what I would consider graduation day, which is to have someone as prominent as my good friend, Bob Miller. Yeah. Not sure what we're going with today. We're going with Bob or Bobby.
We can do either title. Either one works. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, we were just talking before we went live, the ability to, with technology, call it, or just, this time and place, literally convert our flagship store into, call it a podcast, a studio, a content capture. It's very cool. It's very cool to be able to, share stories and get insight from someone like yourself. But yeah, I mean, without further ado, and this is going to last a little bit, but without further ado, maybe if you could share a little bit about yourself, that'd be great.
Wow. Here's my my elevator pitch. You ready for that?
Yes.
Before we get started, it's kind of a fun journey for me because if you would have rewound back to the early 90s, I actually used to interface with Brad's father.
Oh, cool.
He's one of the most prominent ballast creators in the lighting industry before it was a thing.
Yeah.
And so I've been involved with the Barton family for a long time.
Awesome.
So to see this come full circle, and I'll get to the story about maybe being a brand ambassador, but be able to sit here and watch what was an electronics breakthrough to now sitting in the flagship store of a lifestyle brand, I think is kind of full circle and really exciting for me. So Newport Beach resident, I've been here for the last 40 years. Cool. My kids all grew up here. We live up in Newport Heights. Spent a long time in the electronics industry as a corporate executive. Yeah. We had a great liquidity event a few years ago, and that has finally had our earn out. And now it was a point in my life about a year ago where I got to go invest in what I wanted to go do. So over the course of time, I've been involved with a lot of charities. I'm involved with the local school system, and most recently appointed to the City of Newport Beach Harbor Commission.
Wonderful.
And I like long walks on the beach, and I'm not afraid to cry.
There you go. It's awesome.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, so you are you able to share a little bit about what you're excited about investing in? Like what does your next chapter look like?
After spending so many years in a great a team of folks and working in corporate America and really had achieved pretty good success over that course of time, you reach this great point in your life where now you become more reflective and you become more interfacing, and you want to make sure that the one greatest resource we have is time. Right. And so where do we want to spend our time? And that's the greatest commodity of all time. And so that's kind of pivoted to, still doing consulting. I've maintained 40 years of philanthropic involvement here in the Newport Beach community.
That's wonderful.
And now I've turned that attention to our harbor and all that goes along with that. So my kids grew up in the area, and I want them to be able to swim in the water.
Yes.
How they swam in the water, I want my grandkids to be able to swim in the water.
Yeah.
And so that kind of led me to where I am and pivoting that focus. And,
That's awesome.
And so Newport Beach isn't just where I live, it's where I invest my life.
And that's why we love having people like yourself on this podcast, because if I were to think about a couple of different words, or actually maybe a few words to encompass Bob Miller, certainly family would be one of them. Devoted, amazing husband, I wouldn't know, but Kim would know. Philanthropic, affable, like you literally are, suffice it to say, probably within the community, the most generous and charismatic, and I'm going to set you up here a little bit, but very charismatic and welcoming in making people really feel comfortable, whether you're from town or out of town. And so when I think about highlighting someone that's inspirational, I don't really like the word influencer or influential, but inspirational. You know, you evoke that, and it's infectious. Your personality, which is really good. Suffice it to, are those some words that you think kind of sum you up?
Wow, it's a great compliment. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Sure is.
Yeah, and good looking, handsome devil.
We'll leave a great hairstyle.
Yeah.
By the way, greatest compliment you could ever have is good husband and good parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if I carry those badges and I leave everything else behind, I'm pretty fortunate on that end. Yeah. So hopefully we'll continue that legacy and continue to do great things together.
Well, like I mentioned, I kind of prepped you up there, but you know, health is what we consider extremely important relative to our brand, what we're attempting to capture, optimizing health. So I'm kind of curious. There's a few people that are much in the vein within the community that, you know, are highly respected, but how much of, let's call it, your daily approach is that, well, how do I put this? How much of your daily approach is set with that tone going forward? Infectious, optimistic, friendly, happy, because we all have struggles. Yeah. We all have things that may drag us down throughout the course of a day. I'm just kind of curious, like for you, your modus operandi, is it something that takes effort? Is it innate? Is it, which is a San Diego State word, is it within you? Or, like, throw another name out there, John Cornuke, right? Cornuke is very affable. He's very outgoing. He's very exuberant. I'm just kind of curious relative to the balance, and is that something that takes effort, or is it just you?
It's a great question. The only effort it really takes is to remind yourself how blessed we are.
Yeah.
And but I do feel fortunate to wake up every day, and I'm excited about life. Yeah. And I think that hopefully that comes across in where I spend my time, who I spend my time with, you know, what I spend my time doing, and in my family and in my wife and my kids. So I think it is, I wish I could say it was innate, but I think I've carried that with me for a long period of time. And I think that it also allows you to get through some difficult times, which we've all had. And so I think that I've just carried that with me for a long time. And you wake up and it's exciting.
You see the way he's got it?
How lucky we are to live this life. And I look over my shoulder every day figuring somebody's going to come get it. Because they should not be so lucky. And I think the movie was with Tony Curtis called The Great Imposter.
Okay.
They remade it into a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio called Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Where he figures his attitude can get him farther than any knowledge he has. And I think that's my case. Because I don't think the smartest guy in the room, I don't think I'm the fastest guy in the room, I'm not the biggest guy in the room, the most successful guy in the room, the richest guy in the room. Well, I might be the richest guy because I have the best life.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just fortunate, and the more that I've given over the course of time, the more I've received. And it maybe the benefit is that you try to give more away then.
Yeah.
And then in return, you get more.
You get more.
So I think that has kind of been the underlying representative, and I think it allows for good mental health, it's motivation, how fun that we live at a part where you can run down a boardwalk, you can jump in the water, you can go to Newport Beach Rec Center and play basketball, you can go to 24-hour fitness and work out, you know, you get to eat at Grace restaurants, lifestyle, sun, beach. Stop me before I get before I end up being a City of Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's probably headed there.
You want to jump in with any questions?
No, you're doing great.
I mean, like literally, and the beauty of Bob is that you can sense palpably that it's completely genuine. You know, I'll talk about you like you're not here, but he's been able to capture that spirit. And granted, it's probably taken quite a while, but there's so much to be excited about with life. And again, circumnavigating back to Newport, right? What is Newport? Newport is really at its baseline holistic health, right? Mentally, certainly physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially. with his family, with our families, the ability to be in the water, the ability to be on the sand with the sun, with the network. It really he just kind of shared, or didn't kind of, he encapsulated what this community really has to offer. You can feel it. It's palpable, and it penetrates and it resonates. So that's very cool. I would love to do a deeper dive on what you believe your personal impact can be within your newest harbor efforts.
Oh,
what do you got planned there?
There's the segue.
The journey was interesting in that I love our city and our water and our harbor and our beaches so much. As I moved out of corporate America, it was time, okay, where are you going to spend your time? And when I told a mutual friend of ours together, I said, oh, I'm going to move out of corporate America. He goes, I know what you're doing next. And I said, well, what's that? He said, you're going to be on the Harbor Commission. I go, well, tell me a little bit about that, because I think we all have these perceptions of whatever it might be. And if you never had appreciation for how complex and how hardworking our city people are, I'm here to tell you, do not ever underestimate the impact they have, because I got involved just to be on the Harbor Commission. I want our water to be great. I want it to be accessible for everyone. I want a paddleboarder, the same access as a yachter. Okay. It's our water. Let's enjoy it together. And, as I started going through that, you don't realize how complex everything is, from the rules, from the moorings, from, leases, and from tour boat operators and Duffy rentals and, guys who want to launch a Sabbath, or there's so many aspects of it. You start to get a great appreciation, not only for the fellow harbor commissioners, but for our city officials, who spend so much time trying to make our city great. Yep. And, it's, I heard a saying one time, Ariel Sharon stepped down as the Prime Minister of Israel. So, well, you're one of the Prime Ministers, one of the most powerful countries in the world. Why would you step down? He said, well, you know what it's like to be the Prime Minister to 40 million prime ministers?
There you go. Yeah.
Our city's a little bit of this way. Yeah. Our city leadership, our city infrastructure, they're fiscally responsible. They want our city to be great. And you want to talk about learning how complex, go get involved. Yeah. Get on Parks and Rec. Get on an arts commission. Volunteer. Become a police explorer. Our city's really complex, and our leaders do such an amazing job, along with our business leaders, to make our city amazing.
That's awesome.
That's what led me to the journey.
Okay.
Where that path leads from here, there's a lot of different, we're confronted by a lot of stuff. And how do we find the right objectives so that we tackle the right problems? And once again, I just encourage everybody, get involved. Yeah. Go to your city council meeting. Go to your Harbor Commission meeting. Go to your arts, volunteer. Go to our concerts that they have in the park. Yeah. I mean, there's unbelievable. But just get involved. And it's funny, once you start doing it, it becomes more attractive. And then the more payback you get, the more you do. So that's kind of what led me on the journey to where we are today.
I love it. I mean, you could go on and on and on relative to the impact you can make even as an individual within the community on that public side. So thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. And
can I talk a little bit about you guys for a second?
Sure.
Because I really feel
Bob's got notes here.
We're not using notes. We're going off script today. Is that I actually feel like the unofficial brand ambassador.
Okay. Cool. And the unofficial mayor of Newport Beach.
Very unofficial. But for NWPRT, I feel like the brand ambassador.
Yes.
The unofficial brand ambassadors. No, I've taken no sponsorship, no free swag, nothing. But I've worn my Newport stuff all over the world.
That's awesome, yeah.
There is not a better conversation starter than sitting in a foreign country at some location, or Mexico, or even a different state, and people pick out and understand the logo. Yeah. And when they ask, what I go, no, it's really, I hate to say, it's a lifestyle brand, because you guys represent a lifestyle that encompasses who we are as a city. Yeah. And when you start thinking about it that way, what a prideful thing to wear. Yeah. I think the only thing that's even close to that, I'll give you a story, is Yoki Shop, if you have the Mutual Aloha T-shirt,
right.
all over the world they're recognized, right? It's great. I think Newport gives the same thing because people want to know, well, tell me about the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to digress just for a second, I'm a Midwest kid. I grew up in the Midwest.
Okay.
And, everyone's like, oh, Midwest roots and born in Chicago and lived in Kansas City, St. Louis, Denver. And everyone's like, these family values that or permeate to say I'm a Midwest person. Mm-hmm. It now becomes offensive to me because the more time I've spent in this city, the core of our city is those roots. Mm-hmm. They care about family, well-being, their neighbors. Yeah. You go through the Heights, or you go down on the peninsula, or you go, the other side of the bay, Corona del Mar. Everyone's about their community. Mm-hmm. I don't think it has. Midwest doesn't have anything on the people that I know here in Newport Beach that care about the same values that we find important.
We could literally cut and edit that last minute. That is, call it divine intervention when we created the brand. The lifestyle, right, of Newport. Our brand is Newport, right? It's synonymous with the lifestyle, with this community. And what you just captured, what we stand for, certainly the pride of our community, the pride of our relationships, our families, multi-generational history. That's what Newport is. And on that particular day in 2019, when we were sitting around and we came up with the brand, this was way before people started dropping vowels like that's cool or whatever. We came up with the brand, and when we looked at it aesthetically, it at that moment it kind of carried this recognition. Darn it, we're gonna have to edit that. The recognition and the weight, and also kind of captured. I just love the word vibe of who we are. So. Yeah, everything that you mentioned, we have tremendous pride, and that's allowed our brand to elevate, which this community deserves. It deserves the very best, right? So whether it's our podcast, whether it's events in the store, whether it's our apparel, whether it's our beverage line, whatever verticals, whether it's our health and wellness, whether it's our collaborative efforts with different establishments in town, this community deserves the very best, and that's what we're looking to deliver, of course. Which this community deserves, it deserves the very best, right? So whether it's our podcast, whether it's events in the store, whether it's our apparel, whether it's our beverage line, whatever verticals, whether it's our health and wellness, whether it's our collaborative efforts with different establishments in town, this community deserves the very best, and that's what we're looking to deliver, of course.
I reflect back on I think it was a 4th of July weekend, very early into your guys' thing, and he's like, I'm going to do this. And he showed up with a pop-up at 34th Street, 4th of July weekend, craziest weekend of the year. Yeah. And it was so, I'll just use this word, prideful for me, to see all the people that invade our city on 4th of July, that they all were grabbing your logo and taking that back out to the world and helping drive really a lifestyle thing to say, hey, maybe you can't be here every 4th of July, but you can with that logo and that lifestyle and the meaning behind it. You can carry it with you anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you can come back to it. And so I think
very well said.
Just that little pop-up that you had there and schlepping swag out of the beach was, I think, certainly an indicator of how well embraced the lifestyle brand that you guys are bringing to market. So for that, I say thank you on behalf of our residents. Maybe a permanent chair at 34th Street, and but I watch with great joy when people are cruising up down the boardwalk wearing that logo. I think that's tremendous.
It's really cool.
Thank you. Well, it's through the efforts of a tremendous team and through, of course, the efforts of people like yourself. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Any shout outs that we want to
you mentioned your wife and kids. Anything you want to talk about there?
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I've been married for 32 years.
That's
My
awesome.
wife, Kimberly, shout out to you.
Yes.
She's the most amazing, first of all, to me, the most beautiful woman on the planet, but she's just an amazing person.
I love that.
And 2 great kids, Grayson and Paxton. They all both kind of went out and did their thing.
Okay.
And now they're slowly making their way back here.
Okay.
My son relocated back to Balboa Island.
Cool.
My other son relocated from Arizona, and he's in Camarillo, slowly working his way south.
Sweet.
And really just, to our, I'll say our neighbors. And that's everyone from, our friends at the Port Streets, to everyone at Irvine Terrace, the Islands, Newport Heights, West Newport. I love sitting in our local restaurants and our local establishments and, walk through Fashion and seeing people and, everyone's waving at the Balboa Island Parade.
Absolutely.
Or you have the Christmas Walk, or you have these just amazing things. Our Chamber of Commerce roster just looks like like somebody made it up.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, it's almost like The Wonderful Life. Somebody made all this up because you can't have this much cool stuff in one place. And once again, that you talk about infectious enthusiasm. When I start thinking about it, how great, and more importantly, thank you for having me. Because if we can espouse what this is without having any involvement in your business, you espouse what I get to enjoy every single day.
That's what it's about.
And really enjoy the fact when our friends and our neighbors and our visitors and our out-of-town guests are saying, hey, I'm going to come grab this and populate the rest of the world. Like I said, Chamber of Commerce should have, come visit Newport Beach and go to the NWPRT store just off of the pier.
Love it.
Done. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Perfect way to end it. Bobby, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
That would be wonderful.
We would love to have you back.
We can talk about the other initiatives, harbor initiatives, what they're doing with the drone program, all the rest of these things. So.
Well, we should definitely do that when you get, because when are you starting this harbor gig? Have you already started?
I started
still
last
fresh?
summer.
Okay.
And so I'm in the beginning of a 4-year term.
Okay.
So there are 7 commissioners on the harbor committee. We have a great level of wonderful experienced people, and then some new enthusiastics, I would say young buck, but I don't fit that mold anymore, that really want to give back to our city. And so each of our councils that the city government has, and then also including our city council people, you don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
It's just because we want our city to be amazing.
It's love and passion.
And so that makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, well, we can definitely check back in on all that stuff. When you have initiatives going on, we come back and do shout outs. And, your pitch to getting connected and plugging in is so incredibly important for anybody out there. And sometimes people just don't know how to start or where to go. You just gave a great list earlier, which is phenomenal. But if there's things that, you're looking for public support or just people to have more awareness on, like that's all great stuff to come back to.
I love it.
What's a good website?
I would just go to city website. I mean, the city does a great job of putting
citywebsite.com.
all that. Okay, so no, it's actually NewportBeachCA.gov.
Okay, there you go.
See, there we
city
go.
Where you can find anything you want.
You got to look in the
there.
camera.
In the camera, go see that because our city does a great job of having concerts and parades and events and stuff at Mariners Park. Everyone, we go to these concerts. On
incredible.
The green, and they're unbelievable. And I was like, well, how do you hear about that? Well, it's on the website.
Yeah.
Just go check it out. Chamber of Commerce does a great website. There's so many people in here, but more importantly, just get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved with your schools. Go volunteer, be PTA, be on the foundation. We live in a place that brings so many resources to them, but nobody knows where to go.
Yeah.
So we need 3 things: time, treasure, and talent. And the treasure is given a lot of different ways, but time and talent are irreplaceable. Go get involved. It's just start doing it. Yep. And when you do it, it self-propagates.
Yeah, it does. You build relationships and friendships you have for life. Like you said, you meet people all over town, and you get the most back socially and emotionally by plugging in. So that's awesome.
Plug in. Let's go.
Plug in. Well, hope you like this content. Be sure to like, share, comment, follow for more.
Plug in.
Plug in. We will be back at you in the future.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Peace out.